I love movies. Gosh, I love movies.
We come to this place for magic.
I watch a lot of movies.
You do?
Yeah, I watch about a movie a day.
Welcome to Cinephomaniacs, a podcast by movie lovers for movie lovers. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Peyton. In this episode, we're talking about two new action movies, Hungry and The Furious.
But first, we're going to briefly discuss what else we've been looking forward to in a segment we call
Added to Watch List.
One I'm looking forward to is Gail Daughtry in the Celebrity Sex Pass. This stars Zoe Deutsch as someone whose boyfriend, husband?
Fiance.
Whose fiance takes their celebrity pass literally and hooks up with his. So in an effort to save their relationship, she decides that she needs to use hers as well, and it turns out that hers is Jon Hamm.
It looks very charming. The trailer just had a really fun energy that made me laugh a lot. So I'm looking forward to this too now.
This is the latest movie from David Wayne and Ken Marino, who've done movies like Wet Hot American Summer, They Came Together, and Role Models. So I'm really excited to see that style of humor again. I think that Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp is about the best thing Netflix has ever done.
One I will see, but I don't know that I'm looking forward to because the trailer is literally my worst nightmare. It scares me so badly. Is Whalefall, starring Austin Abrams and Josh Brolin. And this follows a scuba diver who, after the death of his father, searches for his remains off the coast of California, and while doing so is swallowed by a sperm whale. I assume the rest of the movie will be him trying to escape, but oh my god, this trailer is so intense. It is the sequence of the whale swallowing him, so scary. The ocean is terrifying. This looks crazy.
For me, there's something so scary about the ocean just being like endless. The idea of just being out there in the water and not knowing how deep it goes terrifies me. So then getting swallowed by a whale is also terrifying to me. I'm excited to see Austin Abrams. He really stole the show with his small role in Weapons, I thought.
And Josh Brolin, so we get a reunion from them. They have a really fun moment in Weapons together.
This is the new film from Brian Duffield, who directed Spontaneous and No One Will Save You. No One Will Save You was a really fun alien invasion movie a couple years ago, starring Caitlin Dever, and it was basically dialogue-free. The majority of the movie was just the one actress versus an alien in her home all alone. There's a reason in the story why no one talks, but basically as a premise, it's like, what if you had to tell people there was an alien invasion happening and you couldn't because no one talked to you anymore? So I think that he can do something really interesting with a premise like Whalefall, where it's all set in one location for the most part, a whale stomach. And I'm excited for that. He's actually been logging this movie on his Letterboxd periodically and reporting on the total running time each time. As of his most recent Letterboxd review, it stands at 1 hour and 39 minutes. So it should be a pretty breezy, intense time.
I'm so scared.
Another one we just got a trailer for this week is The Social Reckoning, Aaron Sorkin's follow-up spiritual successor to The Social Network in 2010. I've been saying for a while that I found it odd that the definitive Mark Zuckerberg Facebook movie came out so early in Facebook's run, knowing what a big part of our life it's become, the political influence it's had. I always thought it was so odd that the definitive movie about it covered such a small part of the story. So I'm very intrigued to see them go back to that source material with 16 more years of real life to cover.
This trailer did look interesting. It has Jeremy Strong as Mark Zuckerberg, so no Jesse Eisenberg, which love him, but Jeremy Strong is an incredible actor, so that's a very exciting casting. We have Oscar-winning actress Mikey Madison here as well, obsessed with her. Andrew really loves Honora, so I know that's exciting for him. Jeremy Allen White, too, who I'm sure most of us know from The Bear. And like you said, Facebook has had such an impact on our lives. It has made a real difference in elections in America, which is crazy. So I think this is a great time for this movie, and I hope it is a very interesting deep dive into exactly that.
And this is actually Mikey Madison's first major role since Honora, so I'm really excited to see her again. She seems to be really diving right into this role. Jeremy Allen White, maybe not so much. It seems to be kind of a boilerplate role. The other Jeremy, Jeremy Strong, I think that his vocal imitation of Mark Zuckerberg is just uncanny here.
And he looks insane complimentary.
Well, so does Mark Zuckerberg. So.
Not complimentary.
One thing about this one is that Aaron Sorkin is directing as well as writing this time around. And I think something that made The Social Network so great was the tension between Aaron Sorkin, a very precise writer, and David Fincher, a very precise director. So I'm maybe a little nervous, but definitely intrigued to see what this looks like without the Fincher influence.
And finally, we're looking forward to Supergirl coming out on June 26th, so right at the end of the month. This one has seen almost none of the hype or promo that Superman got. And honestly, based off the trailer, I don't know if it's going to be as good. But Millie Alcock looks great. I love Crypto. And I will trust James Gunn with superhero properties until he proves me wrong. So I am excited for this one.
It definitely looks a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy to me. But I like those movies, so it should be fun.
This next section is something we call Removed from Watch List, where every week we try to chip away at just a few of the movies that Andrew has on his Letterboxd watch list. What's that at right now, Andrew?
57,991.
Wow, so we brought it down from 58,000. That's very impressive.
Just whittling away little by little.
One we watched together recently is 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, which Andrew had been asking me to watch for a while. So I'm glad we finally got to remove this one from watch list.
This one was so fun to watch. I enjoyed the first 28 Years Later less than a year ago, but I think to me, Bone Temple was just a lot more fun. I really liked Nia DaCosta's take on it. I liked getting to spend more time with Ralph Fiennes and his sort of bromance with Samson, and I thought Jack O'Connell was just such a good villain in this. It's almost like a 2 or 3 episode storyline from The Walking Dead, in the most complimentary way I can say that. And of course, there's the big Mark of the Beast scene that you might have already had spoiled with Ralph Fiennes. That's just so fun to see.
That was so fun. He put everything into that.
You see that poster and you think, he has no reason to be going all out like that. But when you watch the movie, it turns out he does have a pretty good reason to go all out like that.
He really, really does.
And another one we just watched together was Rainbow Girls, which is a short film about shoplifters who target high-end boutique stores, which came on my radar because it was being compared a lot to I Love Boosters, a movie we just reviewed recently.
And I definitely see the similarities. We really just spend about 15 minutes with our group of boosters as they come together and go on a run. And it was exciting, heartfelt. The acting was great. I was really glad we watched this one.
We've also been following a couple shows lately. We've watched the first 3 episodes of the new Cape Fear miniseries, and I think that's been a really fun twist on the movie plot so far. It stars Javier Bardem as Max Cady and Amy Adams and Patrick Wilson as his targets. In this version, Max Cady's defense attorney was the female character, Amy Adams, and it turns out Patrick Wilson was actually his prosecutor. Sometime later, his defense attorney and prosecutor ended up getting married, so his case was a little fishy from the start.
Yeah, and it wasn't all that time later. It was like 2 months. But this one has been really fun to watch so far. All 3 of these actors are such high caliber. I will watch pretty much anything just for all 3 of them. They do have a family cat that we see a lot, and knowing the vibes of this show, I'm very nervous. But other than that, I can't wait to see where this goes.
If you've seen either of the movies, it's not following them too closely, which is fun because it gives them a lot of opportunities to take a different turn than you were expecting. I think there have been 2 or 3 turns already that I sort of called right away and ended up coming true. So I'm excited to see the rest of this season.
Yes, and another one we've been watching, which actually has a pretty similar name, is Widow's Bay, also on Apple TV, and this stars Matthew Rhys as the mayor of a haunted island town. And this show is kind of if a sitcom was set in a Stephen King novel. It just brings me such joy every week. It is so silly and also spooky, and in one of the recent episodes, some surprisingly good kills. So if you haven't watched this one yet, I definitely recommend adding this to your watch list.
I've really enjoyed this one as well. I'm not as much of a Stephen King fangirl as you, but it's really been fun to watch. And I think Matthew Rhys has been a lot of fun to watch. I saw someone say that he's basically playing a human Courage the Cowardly Dog in this. Very funny protagonist for a show like this.
I think that's a very apt description. Yes, he's absolutely hilarious in this. And Stephen Root is here as well in a fun little role. So yeah, check this one out.
Well, it's all right.
It's showtime, folks.
And now, for the reason you're all really here, let's talk The Furious. We actually got to catch this one a little early. We saw it at one of AMC's Mystery Monday screenings. And thank God we did, because this was crazy fun.
This one was a real joy. It's a martial arts movie out of Hong Kong, but it's very much an international production. It has a Japanese director, it was filmed in Thailand, and it has a cast that's a mix of Chinese, Thai, Indonesian, and American. It stars Miao as a Chinese martial artist, and full disclosure, we did miss a couple minutes on this one. There was a bit of a mix-up at the concession stand. He has a head injury that makes him unable to speak, so he communicates through sign language. He is a single father to his daughter, and they left China to move to Thailand after the death of his wife. Again, we did miss a little bit of it, but as far as I can tell, we don't know too much about his backstory other than he was just a really bad guy. Early on in the movie, his daughter is picked up off the street by human traffickers, and he tries to chase them down but is unsuccessful.
And I just want to say that this reminded me of a scene from a movie we saw together earlier this year, except this scene I think was done better. It reminded me a lot of a scene from Lee Cronin's The Mummy when Katie is kidnapped and Jack Rayner, her father in that movie, is running through the streets trying to find her. And in that movie, there's a sandstorm happening, and Jack Rayner has his eyes wide open the entire time, just wandering aimlessly. This one, no sandstorm, so it's a bit easier, but I think this one just all around had more tension, and of course this one ends in a really fun fight scene. This whole movie is a really fun fight scene. It was interesting that the scenes were so similar. This one, though, again, a lot better.
And it's not just perfunctory, it's a really fun scene in itself. And it sort of teaches you how to watch the movie you're watching, because as they're fighting, we kind of learn the rules this movie is playing by. You know, every punch sounds like a gun just went off. It'll send you flying, but it also won't kill you. People can pick up metal bars and just bend them, and their punches will go through the metal. So you learn very quickly that even though this is a pretty serious movie, from a martial arts perspective, it is a little out there. And the henchman who kidnaps his daughter is played by Brian Lee, who had a memorable small role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Do you remember the scene where they had to put a trophy somewhere?
I do. Yes, now that you say that, I can picture him. Quite a memorable role.
And he's basically playing the Juggernaut in this. I think he's the only American main cast member. The way he moves around is so funny. He's like a Three Stooge in this.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
And while pretty much all the other martial artists here are fighting with skill, he's basically just fighting with sheer strength. He's like running around, hitting people with his head. You know, he's really like a wrecking ball.
He uses his own body as a weapon largely throughout the film, and it's glorious to watch.
We don't learn Xiao Miao's character's name until the very end, but just for simplicity, it's Wang Wei. Wang goes to the police, and they are no help at all. So he quickly decides that he's going to find his daughter on his own. He ends up running into a reporter named Naveen who has the same goals as him because his wife, also a reporter, was taken by these same people a few years ago. This character is played by Joe Taslim from The Raid, the Mortal Kombat movies, and The Night Comes for Us. If you're familiar at all with any of those movies, you know that he's going to get in on the action too.
And he is handsome. I just want to say that. Also, great actor. He's wonderful in this.
The next big chunk of the movie is about them solving the mystery behind this human trafficking ring and finding where they're keeping the kids. It seems like they're taking Chinese kids specifically, or maybe just immigrants, because they're easier to disappear. And they uncover that there's this whole conspiracy around this trafficking ring going up to the police, the local government, the powerful business people. Can you imagine something like that happening in our world?
No, never.
So we get several pretty fun fight scenes throughout the movie, and they do eventually get to the kids and manage to free them. At this point in the movie, I was thinking, that was pretty good. But the thing was, we were only about halfway through the movie at this point.
It felt like we had come to a stopping point, and I agree. If we had stopped here, this still would have been a super fun action movie, but it does go into a much more interesting direction from here, and we get a lot more fight scenes, so...
In the background, we've been following this villainous character. He's a younger guy who's the son-in-law of an influential local Thai businessman, government leader, I think. For most of the movie, I did not expect him to get in on the action at all. He seems like kind of a, college-educated, pretty boy. Did not think that he was going to be one of the driving action forces in this movie. When the news comes out that his operation has fallen apart and all of their human trafficking victims have gotten away, he's basically taken into a room with the local mob to account for it. But he turns the tables on them and just kills them all right there. It's a surprising moment because, mind you, at this point in the movie, we think we're almost at the end. And then all of a sudden, this action scene comes out of nowhere. And it's just so brutal. He's killing them with swords, with bottles, with everything he has in his grasp. He's just killing anyone in sight, including someone who comes up behind him to stop him, which turns out to be his own wife.
Who is pregnant, and since he's been rampaging through this room and doesn't know it's her, he turns around and stabs her in the stomach, killing both her and their unborn child.
And so he's very distraught about this, and instead of looking inside himself at all, he just decides that this is actually the fault of Wang and Naveen, so he's going to go and take it out on them.
And this does lead into our climax.
Wang and Naveen are at a police station which is empty at this point, and Joey Iwanaga is the actor's name, and Pak Lung is his character. He goes to confront Wang and Naveen, who are at the police station just giving their report, trying to be good citizens, but the police station pretty quickly clears out once the action starts going down. At the same time, we have another character who's been kind of operating in the background. He's like an assassin within this local ring, and he's played by Yayan Ruyan from the Raid movies and John Wick 3.
And also Boy Kills World, which I think is underrated.
And so we have this sort of four-way fight with multiple different motivations going on. We have Pak Lung, who is sort of seeking revenge for what he blames as being the reason his wife is dead. We have Yayan's character, who is just kind of avenging the death of his boss. And then we have Wang and Naveen, who are just sort of fighting for their lives. We get a pretty great fight scene, and then a fifth character enters, which is Brian Lee's character from earlier. He's coming to avenge the death of his father. And so then it turns into a five-way fight scene, which, I'll be honest, I've seen some martial arts movies. I don't know that I've ever seen a five-way fight scene quite like this. And they are fully aware that what they're doing is pretty cool, because they put on this five-way split screen as soon as it happens.
And they are right. It's so cool. And Brian Lee's character is especially funny in this scene because he's just kind of going after everyone. Like Andrew said, he's just mad that his dad is dead and just on a rampage.
He really throws a wrench into the works because you have these other fighters who are all very skilled martial artists. And then the way he's playing this character is just like a bull in a china shop, brute force running into them. We have several moments where the multiple fights happening simultaneously kind of clash into each other by mistake. We get some really brutal action here. We get any sort of pairing you could imagine of working together, fighting each other. You know, if you've seen the Raid movies, you know what to expect from Joe Taslim and Yan Ruhian. Miao is also doing some really impressive martial arts here. I was impressed with Joey Iwanaga because, not being familiar with his work, I was just really surprised to see him hold his own in this scene. And the way that he's playing it is just this really fast, jumpy, kick-heavy form of fighting that also sort of makes him stand out from the others. So we get these brutal fights all over the police station. You know, they destroy everything in sight. There fights upstairs, downstairs, fights that start upstairs and end up downstairs. They're fighting with anything you can imagine. There's a fight with a ladder that was really fun, reminded me of like a Jackie Chan stunt. But basically, Naveen and Yayan Ruhian's character, who's named Tak, end up killing each other at the same time. Brian Lee also dies. I don't quite remember who kills him, but it comes down to Wang versus Pak Lung. We also have Wang's daughter, who's been freed, coming back to save him at this point. But the fight between Wang and Pak Lung goes outside. The sun is coming up. It's also raining, and at this point they start fighting each other with bicycles as weapons. It gets really brutal. They're just punching each other in the face over and over again, and Wang actually ends up going down at this point. We see Wang's daughter come up to Pak Lung to take him on her own, and Pak Lung looks like he's going to be able to go right through her and walk away, but he takes a few steps and just collapses and dies from all the massive head trauma we've just seen him sustain for the last 30 minutes. And then we cut to some time in the future and we see that Wang has recovered and he and his daughter are living happily. And they scatter Naveen's ashes on the beach, and that's where we end things.
Yang and Yu plays the daughter Rainy here, and she is also giving an incredible performance. She also plays such a brave young girl who is really able to inspire the other kids and plays a big part in their escape as well. So she was the highlight for me here, along with all of the incredible action sequences that we get.
And I just think it's such a fun hook. You know, you have this really simple, kind of topical plot around human trafficking, but it's really just a way to get into all this incredible stunt work and fight choreography that we see. You know, it's really a showcase for these 5 main performers. And I think all of them are bringing a lot of their own expertise to the fights.
They're all so fun to watch, and this absolutely makes me want to check out more of Kenji Tanigaki's work. I think he did something incredible behind the camera here.
I thought out of all of these, maybe the least interesting one, ironically, was Xie Miao's character, the main character. And he's an actor I actually wasn't familiar with. He actually got his break playing Jet Li's son in the early 90s in 2 different movies. And now fast forward some 30 years later and he's starring in these kind of movies on his own.
This premiered at TIFF and officially released in theaters on June 12th. And I'd highly recommend checking this one out.
This premiered at TIFF in the Midnight Madness section. And here are just some of the other movies that premiered in that block. Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. Normal, Obsession, and Fuck My Son. So just a really, really fun block. I think whoever programmed that really needs their ass ate.
All right, so now we're going to get into Hungry. And just a quick disclaimer before we start, we recorded this next part in a different area with 1 mic between 4 people, so please forgive us if the audio isn't quite the same.
What's for lunch? It's hungry, hungry hippos! Hungry, hungry hippos!
So now we're going to talk about Hungry, which comes out on the 23rd of this month and was directed by James Nunn, which sounds suspiciously like James Gunn, but he's definitely not of the same caliber directorially. And here to talk about this with us are 2 people we were lucky enough to see the movie with and 2 best friends of mine, Emma and Shannon.
Hi.
Hello. Shannon, before we get into it, why don't you tell us, based off the title, what you thought this movie was going to be about?
Okay, so when I was told we were going to see the Hungry Hippo movie, I was told we were seeing the silly Hungry Hippo movie and was really convinced we were taking a break from horror and maybe watching a children's movie. So needless to say, when I saw a group of unsuspecting people are terrorized by a hippo, it's not what I thought we were going to see.
In the era of Barbie, that's a very fair guess, but
It was still good.
other movies by James Nunn Not Gunn include Sharkbait and movies 5 and 6 in the Marine franchise.
I was expecting something pretty silly with this one too. When I first heard that there was a killer hippo movie called Hungry, I was expecting kind of the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey take on the Hungry Hippos, but it was actually a pretty self-serious, low-budget action movie. You know, like you said, James Nunn's other movies are Sharkbait, basically this movie with sharks, and then the Marine 5 and 6. He did additional directing on 47 Meters Down and its sequel, which is, again, similar movie, different animal.
So he likes sharks.
I thought it was going to be in Africa due to the hippo.
I'm just glad it wasn't just me who thought this was genuinely about the hungry hippos, like the hungry hippos.
I mean, they called it Hungry and it's about a hippo.
The trailer says these hippos aren't here to play games.
Right.
Okay, so they
We're
were
not-
trying
They were
to
playing off of
inspire.
that.
What
Clearly,
hippo
yes.
is there to play games? It's like not a
They're there to kill
famously
you.
playful animal.
But do you want to tell us what it was actually about, Andrew?
Well, we missed the first few minutes because we were getting popcorn, but this is about a group of people in Louisiana on an alligator tour.
Think Lana Del Rey's husband.
Very accurate.
So it stars Madison Davenport as Sistine, and you might know her from It's What's Inside and Sharp Objects,
She was in Sharp Objects?
according to her IMDb.
I was trying to figure out what she was from this entire movie.
I don't remember her in Sharp Objects, but I haven't seen it since it aired. But it follows her and several other passengers as they take a trip through the Louisiana swamplands to see crocodiles and other wildlife. But unbeknownst to most of them, one of the passengers has paid extra to go off course and get a close-up look at this gator or crocodile, honestly, I don't know, that's supposed to be over 10 feet long. And for some reason, she really, really wants to get pictures of this thing. She's a very corporate woman. She's literally in a suit in the Louisiana swamplands, and it's incredibly unclear why she would care this much or want to be here.
I also question why she paid an extra $300 to see an alligator up close when wasn't that the point of the tour all together?
Right. It was like to see one specific one, I guess, that was like the biggest. But the thing was, once they did spot it and it was clearly murked by something much bigger and more dangerous, she kept insisting that they go closer, like physically with the boat. But it's like, girl, you have an iPhone 16 zoom. Like, you don't need to get physically any closer to that crocodile. Like, ugh. Also, important to note, she is the only black character, okay? And that will come back later.
Yeah, so like Emma said, they see that this crocodile or gator has been decapitated by something clearly bigger and more dangerous. And she's telling the tour guide to get closer, which he like pretty much does.
He got that money, honey. He got that $300.
That's not enough.
Yeah, for real.
So they're fine for a couple minutes, but pretty immediately their boat is tipped over by some creature we have yet to see that's clearly very big and clearly very aggressive.
Might be a hippo.
What I did say is these B-horror movies get right into the action. This is like 7 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. I mean, as far as we know.
17
Right
minutes
into the
into the movie,
popcorn.
guys.
Right.
Okay, so 13 minutes into the movie.
They're in the water and the boat is tipped over and the land is maybe 1 foot from them and the boat is like 10 feet from them and they're like, okay, everybody swim to the boat. For what? To like be, obviously it can tip the boat over, it just did.
Get to the land.
And it's so much closer, but no, whatever. And then I think that one bitch goes in a tree.
Some of our characters climb trees to try to get away from whatever this is. A lot of them climb onto the tipped over boat.
That's like just a little tin can barely floating.
At this point. And yeah, now a big stretch of this movie is just, even though to Shannon's point, it starts off pretty quickly, a long stretch is just them getting very slowly picked off by this hippo.
It does grind to a halt.
And they have to keep finding excuses for people to get in the water or fall. Like, they have food and water that is floating in a cooler that someone has to try and go get. And of course,
Always Miss Girl.
yes, Sistine is in everybody's business. She has a savior complex to the max.
And then everyone keeps being like, oh my god, you're so good at that. I'm like, stop, that's exactly what she wants. You're feeding her ego. And then, yeah, the best friend is swimming in the... Why? She, like, falls in the water or whatever. And then is swimming around for hours.
For a long time. Like, she could have gotten out. Question mark.
I mean, instead of her going up the base of the tree, her friend Sistine goes up the base of the tree and then over to the branch to try to haul her friend up, when really the friend should just go to the base of the tree the way Sistine like, you don't need to be involved.
There were a lot of questionable physics in this movie. The one that I really like, someone with a smarter brain than me to chime in on, is when they poured the gasoline on the water around the boat and then lit it on fire, and somehow that was supposed to stop the hippo from coming underneath the boat.
Yes.
You guys remember that?
So at one point, after we've lost the best friend character, who I honestly thought would stick around for a while, but no, she's hippoed pretty quick.
Get hippoed.
They remember that there is a radio in the boat, and it might be dead by now, but it might not. So they might be able to send their location back to base camp or whatever. And so Sistine, of course, our main girl, offers to swim to the boat and try to get it and bring it back to our group of survivors. So yeah, at this point, they start pouring fire, not even in like a ring around the whole boat though, in like little patches around the area. And they light that. And that is supposed to keep the hippo away.
But
and I guess
they
it
can't
does.
swim underneath.
They're underwater, though, is like the main point of that scene, is she swims under the boat, under the fire to get this GPS.
And the fire, of course, is not underwater.
So
we also forgot to talk about veteran grandpa dying. He gets in the water for absolutely zero reason at all. Because the friend is in the water and she's swimming back and forth. She's swimming for laps and laps, just really leisurely like, not as if there's a hippo after her. And her friend goes to help, but old man also gets in the water for no reason with like a stick of wood, as if it's gonna do anything to a hippo. And then the hippo gets his ass and it's like, yeah, you kind of deserved that.
Yeah, we also have a family on the boat with us. It's a grandpa, his daughter, and then her son, who is about the age of our main girl. And yeah,
it was horny for her dead best friend. Before she was dead, though.
And he also has a little bit of a savior complex, because yeah, he thinks he's going to do something against this hippo, and also immediately taken out.
Mm-hmm.
So Sistine, our main girl, is able to get the GPS, radio, and first aid kit back to our few surviving passengers left. Rodrigo, who is our original tour guide, actually got injured during the original hippo attack that tipped over the boat. He got bent pretty out of shape by one of its fangs. So he's been kind of slowly bleeding out this entire time. He's been incredibly unuseful. So as Rodrigo is kind of bleeding out and our remaining folks are helping him, we're joined by the owner of this tour group, I think, named Walker. And everyone's trying to help Rodrigo, but at this point it's clear he's toast. R.I.P. Rodrigo. At this point, once again, the boat is attacked by the hippo because it's incredibly flimsy, and we've seen that the hippo can knock it over very easily. Mikey, our young boy, who is about the same age as our main girl, it's his turn to get taken out.
It's his turn. Now, do we know it's a hippo at this point? At what point in the movie did they go, oh my goodness, it's a hippo?
Well, they say towards the beginning they think it was a hippo, but the tour guides and older people are like, no way, not a hippo, we're in Louisiana. Which
Until
fair.
this part, right?
Yeah, which
I
fair.
do think we've gotten the hippo face reveal before now.
No, this is the hippo face reveal because Mikey is knocked into the water and then we get the hippo's face coming out of the water, which honestly is so cute.
Yeah,
cute
I mean, it
little
is
face.
kind of like effectively scary because it is a big face because it's a hippo.
Yeah.
And
Very
like,
astute.
I thought it was going to be like Jaws, where it's like, this is an impossibly big hippo, but no, hippo-sized hippo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to say that's any less of a threat. They kill like a lot of people, and like what the fuck is it doing in Louisiana? Sorry for cursing. But normal sized hippo, cute little face, little floppy ears. We all said, oh, you're the cute little hippo.
And then it ate him.
He died.
Yeah.
And that like we all kind of had the same qualm, which was the hippo attacks themselves were like pretty uneventful besides the mass amounts of leisurely swimming away from the hippo. Once the hippo actually caught people, there wasn't much of like, you know, again, to compare it to Jaws, like thrashing or like under the water struggle or anything. Like once the hippo's there, they're munched. That's it. They have just been swallowed whole by this hippo.
Yeah, it's like bite, pool of blood, we're done.
Mm-hmm. I guess the only one that does come back is she does see the dead body of her friend under the boat.
Oh yeah, they try to jump scare us with that. Doesn't work super well.
No, just made me think that, you know, the only time I would be bloodthirsty for a hippo is if it killed one of my girls.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also oddly pristine and like
She
no gore in that scene at all. It was just her floating perfectly intact.
So after losing her mother before this film even starts, her dad about 2 hours ago, and now her son right in front of her face, our girl Sally just starts swimming into the swamp.
Yeah, and like murmuring to herself because she's like, oh, we forgot to say the reason that Homeboy falls in is because the lady that paid the guy to go on this excursion is like wrestling with someone, so she bumps him into the water. So it's not only her fault that they are there at all, it's also directly her fault that that guy dies because she accidentally bumps him in. Again, just like making her the absolute worst character of this whole movie.
The absolute worst character. And for being such a villain, the reason that they're all there and now gets this child killed, she has just been like chilling in the background this whole time while they're all getting taken out by the hippos. Barely any lines.
Actually,
even.
At one point, her bag is floating like near her, and she calls over to Sistine and her friends, like, "Hey, get my bag." And they're like, "Girl, you get your bag." Like, no.
Which I think this is a good point in the conversation.
I agree.
To discuss my main issue with the movie.
So Shannon might have had a couple drinks.
I still think the point stands. The main villain in this entire story is not the hippo.
No.
But the businesswoman who pays the $300 arbitrarily to get this close-up view of this, you know, destructive alligator, therefore putting everyone's lives in danger. And like Emma said, directly killing half of the characters in one way or another. She is the only Black woman character, and I think that is such an insane choice to be making in 2026, like blatantly villainizing the only person of color.
And then the best, most heroic people are the white ones.
The white blonde girls.
And it's like she's showing direct, like, Karen vibes. Like, she's like, no, I don't care what everybody wants. Get me close to the crocodile. No, I don't care if I accidentally push this person in the water. I'm driving the boat or whatever.
Also, what person, everyone who would pay $300 to see something extremely dangerous would be a white person.
Yeah, that is
Yes.
white people shit to a T.
Like, no one else is doing
So
that.
just a really crazy choice, especially in Louisiana.
And she's in a business suit on this swampland journey. Like, why was that your outfit of choice?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they went out of their way to make her so unlikable. They could have chose any one of the people in this story to be the one that made that decision, and it didn't have to be her.
They give her the most brutal death as well. If any of them actually have gore, it's hers.
Anyway, back to the plot.
Sorry.
No, I think that's an extremely necessary conversation to have about this hippo
Just a
movie.
crazy decision.
Is the race politics of Hungry Hungry Hippo.
Right.
Bet you didn't think there would be any. We didn't either.
So at this point, we have the owner of this whole excursion thing, Walker, our main white savior, Sistine, and our villain, Dion. They are our only survivors left, and they are trying to get out of here on the boat that Walker came in with. And as they're making their way out,
They stumble across a 100-year-old hippo farm, I would say. One of the plot points of this whole movie is that hippos are not native to Louisiana. So they kind of dismiss the idea that it could even be a hippo.
at first, until of course we see the hippo.
Until we see a hippo.
Yes, we are told that President Teddy Roosevelt tried to start a hippo trade where they would bring in and breed hippos for their meat, but that this was shut down when it was discovered that hippos taste like shit, which seems kind of intuitively obvious. It just seems like they'd be very fatty.
Well, also,
But-
what, you didn't check that one time?
Literally.
You
Right,
tried
we just
one
did
hippo
it.
before you committed to having this whole trade.
Maybe they didn't sell one.
So this farm has been shut down for almost a century now, but we do still have hippos here. And somehow our main hippo of this movie follows our trio into the farm. And it's at this point where they've already made us feel kind of bad by telling us these hippos were farmed for meat, that we're shown that the hippo has a little baby that is trapped inside of a gate thing that's fallen on top of it. It can't get out. Its mom can't get it out. And it's just screaming and screaming, and it's horrible.
And it's obviously adorable because it's a baby hippo. And so us as the audience, you're like, if we already weren't rooting against these
Terrible human beings.
yeah, shitty characters, I mean, now it's just entirely pro hippo. And then they burn it to death.
Since their earlier fire plan worked by some miracle, they decide they'll start a fire here as well. They're able to find some leftover oil from when the farm was active, and they set it ablaze. And yes, this is when we get the reveal of an even bigger, badder hippo, who I'm guessing is the dad.
Yeah, big papa hippo.
Daddy hippo.
And we also get great dialogue here from Walker, who tells our other two survivors that hippos are vegetarians, so he's not even killing you to eat you. He's just killing you for fun. They're able to burn this hippo.
So sorry.
Did they burn the mommy hippo or the daddy hippo?
The dad.
No, they burned the mom. The mom
I
was
thought they
chasing
didn't
them in
burn
the
the mom
in
out.
the
Okay.
building, and then they lock her in and burn the mom, and then they go outside, and that's when the dad walks up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's sad.
I was kind of tuning
Just
her
wanted
out
it
at
to be
this
the
point.
dad.
Sistine walks by the baby hippo that's trapped under the fence. That the fence also has bushes on it, which is why you can't pick it up with force. You have to remove the bushes. But anyway, she was walking by it, and Peyton and Shannon in the theater are just going, "Save the baby! Save the baby! Save the baby!"
It was very important. It keeps cutting back to this baby hippo who, yeah, not only is a fence cage thing on top of it, but a bush has like grown into that, which means presumably it's been there for weeks, if not months. But yeah, it cuts back and forth between that and our trio lighting this place on fire. They're able to corral the mama hippo into a room, and she burns to death, and it's sad.
It's terrible.
By this point, we
Fucked
don't
up.
want that. Walker is killed during this process, and Dion and Sistine make it out, where we see the daddy hippo who's come to collect his baby, and he promptly smashes Dion against a fence.
One of the better kills.
Yeah.
It's kind of mixed messages too, because we're supposed to feel sympathetic to the hippos, like, oh, they were just protecting their baby this whole time. But also they burn the mother alive.
Yeah, don't really get what they were going
Who are we rooting for as the audience?
So at this point, it's just Sistine left, and even though when they pulled the GPS out of the water earlier in the film, it didn't work anymore, so they weren't able to share their official location. Helicopters are now on the search for them. There are people looking, and since this farm is on fire, in a big way, the smoke has attracted them, and she's able to catch the attention of rescuers.
Is that it? It ends
Is
with
that
her
the
in,
end?
in the
I don't really
helicopter,
remember.
right? And then a hippo jumps out and catches the helicopter in its mouth.
Wait, really?
No.
I don't remember
I don't
that.
remember how it ends.
I don't either.
I think it just ends with her in the helicopter, right?
That's-
Obviously, it left a great impression on us.
Yes.
And then if you stay for the end credit scenes, you see that the hippo's going to be a part of the Avengers.
So it does end with our main girl, Sistine, getting away, and the swamp, presumably, a major fire starting, so who knows how much destruction that's gonna cause. These hippos might die in that fire anyway. I'm not rooting for our humans at this point, only the hippos. I don't like it.
And she's just leaving with a dead friend and, no good pictures of a crocodile. I guess her and her friend took selfie videos, which it's always fun to see, grown man directors trying to, show how young women are with technology and photos. It's always at least just a little bit off. Like a director making them say, "Oh my god, my video got 300 hits."
I am a huge fan of the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movies and all of the movies in that vein. And so from that perspective, I do love the idea of a movie inspired by Hungry Hungry Hippos about a hippo rampage. But I think there was not enough hippo violence. They should have just made the hippo also like an evil hippo out to destroy if they were going to take
I
that
wanted
route.
Jaws hippo, regular hippo, empathetic hippo even.
Empathetic hippo.
Give it like Ebola or like the insatiable hunger, so it has to terrorize
Make it be like,
town.
it'd be scary if this one wasn't a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make it eat
Carnivore
us.
hippo.
Mm-hmm.
Carnivore hippo.
We should make a
Rabies.
carnivore hippo movie.
Zombie hippo.
Vampire hippo.
Monkey hippo.
Da-na-na, da-na-na-na.
It's got the teeth.
The fangs.
If I wanted one thing out of this movie, it was for there to be 4 hippos ripping one guy apart at the same time. And we just never get that.
Not enough hippos.
Or at least like an
at
aerial,
least one more hippo.
like an aerial shot of 4 hippos converging
Yes.
from
Just
4
give me
angles.
4 hippos in one shot.
Yeah.
That's all I ask
And we
of this
all would have
movie.
gone, whoa!
I would have given it 5 stars if I saw 4 hippos in one shot.
Yeah.
Then the Leo point.
I
Yes.
agree with Pei that, like, as a lover of not maybe the most prestigious movies in general, I just wanted more hippo violence. It was very much like hippo come, you disappear.
Hippo go.
Hippo
Hippo go.
And that's my haiku.
So I think our final thoughts are needed more hippo violence and more thoughtful discussions about race in the writer's room.
Yes!
2 statements you would never think go together.
Just we wouldn't have ever thought of it if one other character was black.
Or if they made her character any other character.
Right.
It didn't have to
Make
be
her
her.
the mother.
Right.
Yeah. Would you guys recommend this?
Yeah. It would be a good party movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're like having a bunch of friends over and you just want to like drink and like, you could definitely make a drinking game out of it. Like every time someone has some corny one-liner, everybody take a shot and then you and your friends pass out. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. Every time Dion is a Karen, take a shot.
Yeah.
You guys all
Pass
die.
out.
Yeah.
What about you, Shan? Do you recommend it?
Oh, it's
Shan was
tough.
kind of fired up
It's
after
tough.
this movie, I will say. Pei and I walked out with a smile on our faces, and Shan was red hot.
No, I would recommend it.
Andrew?
I would recommend it. I thought it was fun. I think when this is on Amazon Prime or like Tubi in a year, it'll be fun to just watch this one night.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend it?
No. Yes. Just
And you're all
kidding.
dumb.
Yes, I agree. I think it would be very fun to watch with friends, definitely with some drinks. A drinking game could go very far with this one. So, yeah, I'd recommend it.
I will say I think I would probably recommend Crawl first, and it's like kind of a similar vibe movie of like some kind of swamp creature where it shouldn't be and you're gonna get munched by it. But that one is definitely more suspenseful, but also still very silly. So watch Crawl, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, do a double feature with Crawl.
And go
Crawl is
Gators.
amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us for this part of the episode. So great to have you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks.
having us.
Also, Shannon's been bald this whole time. I bet you didn't know that.
It's disgusting.
Re-listen to the episode now,
beautiful.
knowing that Shannon's bald.
And thank you so much for tuning in to Cinephomaniacs to talk movies with us. Make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram for memes and behind-the-scenes looks and updates about what we're going to review next. Did you listen to this and think they mentioned a lot of movies? I wish I could look at a list of all of them. Well, we put them together on Letterboxd for you, so follow us there as well.
You can find us on Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, and TikTok at Cinephomaniacs. You can find Andrew on Substack at Andrew Likes Movies for reviews on movies like this and more. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Did you nut? Usually you nut.